Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to RSRS for inviting me to address the 26th APPSMO. It is an honor to speak to such a distinguished cohort, and I'm delighted to see this platform continue to thrive. Now, as you begin your week of exchanges, I wouldn't say that I have any expert thoughts on this, but just some of my own thinking on the theme, multilateralism as bulwark in a changing global environment. And as we all know, and it's not new to any one of us here, we are living in a period of profound change. The international rules-based order, which has underpinned decades of stability and prosperity, is under immense strain. We are in an interregnum, and the transition between the old world order and an uncertain new one. Now, this transition is marked by three critical shifts. And I shall go in terms of, firstly, the economic domain. Now, the economic domain, the rules-based multilateral system, trading system, is fraying. For decades, globalization drove unprecedented growth. Many of the countries represented here, in fact, all of them have benefited from globalization. But the rise in protectionism and nationalism has led to tariff wars and economic uncertainty. Now, increasingly, we see security concerns overriding market logic in trade and investment, creating a more fragmented global economy. Now, second, in the security domain, which many of you are very familiar with, we are witnessing an erosion of respect for international law, including the core principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. But the last count, 2024, the number of state-based conflicts reached its highest level since the end of World War II. While now there is a prospect of a ceasefire in Gaza, we certainly hope so, something positive will happen this week, other wars in Ukraine and other parts of Africa show no signs of ending. Upholding the UN Charter is now an uphill task as major power intensifies and nations adopt more transactional, zero-sum approaches. Third, in the technology domain, the conflict itself is changing. Emerging technologies are transforming the battlefield and blurring the lines between war and peace. We are not really at war, but we are also not really at peace, according to our Defense Minister, Mr. Chan Chun-sing. Now, artificial intelligence is being tested for autonomous systems. In fact, many of them are being incorporated now. Hybrid warfare, which involves and combines kinetic force with cyber attacks and disinformation, is now commonplace. Without shared norms and guardrails, the risk of miscalculation grows, making our security environment even more precarious. Now, these challenges are daunting, yet history shows that disruption is often the catalyst for new forms of cooperation. When faced with shared threats that no single nation can overcome, countries can and do find common ground. Even small states and middle powers have the agency to shape outcomes through collective action. Now, in the economic sphere, we see positive developments like the Future of Investment and Trade, or FIT partnership, which Singapore helped to launch last month. This is a coalition of 14 small and medium-sized countries dedicated to keeping trade open, strengthening supply chains, promoting investment. It's an agile platform for like-minded partners to ensure trade remains an engine for growth. In the security sphere, even amidst competition, the US and China have shown a willingness to stabilize the relationship and manage areas of friction. But this line I have changed and changed again because when I thought it was done, then there is a 100% tariff being imposed. We're not too sure what's happening this week and whether the high-level dialogue will happen in a couple of weeks' time. We may have to change this line again, but it is what it is. It's something that we all have to deal with, that the stability, or in fact the uncertainty, is the only thing we can trust for certain. But closer to home, the Five Powers Defense Arrangements, of FPDA, remain a pillar of regional security. Already in its 54th year, the FPDA continues to evolve, incorporating advanced assets like the F-35 fighter jets and the UK's Carrier Strike Group in recent exercises. Now, this demonstrates its enduring value as a transparent, constructive platform that enhances interoperability and contributes to regional security. Furthermore, platforms like the ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus, ADMM Plus, enable practical cooperation between regional militaries and our global partners in areas of disaster relief, maritime security, and cybersecurity. Now, these efforts build the trust and confidence essential to reducing the risk of miscalculation. In the technology sphere, countries are coming together to develop shared norms. At the ADMM retreat in February, ministers committed to strengthening cooperation in AI and defense. This builds on global conversations at the Responsible AI in the Military Domain, or REAIM Summit. Singapore's active role in these initiatives underscores our belief that we must establish global norms and guardrails for the responsible use of AI in the military. Of course, effective multilateralism extends beyond governments. We must also draw on the strength of a wider ecosystem: corporates, academia, civil society. For example, the SAF's Changi Regional HADR Coordination Center regularly partners with regional counterparts and humanitarian organizations to deliver relief to communities affected by natural disasters, as it did last year in Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. Now, these examples show that cooperation is indeed possible in today's fractured world, perhaps even more so than ever. The multilateral system, while imperfect, remains our best tool for preserving peace and stability. It gives every country, large and small, a voice that ensures that collective interests are not sacrificed to power politics. Now, the foundation of all cooperation is dialogue. Dialogue between neighbors, partners, and most importantly, between those who don't see eye to eye. In a volatile world, a shared table is often the first and most important line of defense. Even when we agree to disagree, dialogue builds the mutual understanding that prevents disagreements from escalating into conflict. The value of dialogue is not in just formal treaties or agreements, but also cultivating the habit of engagement. Regular touch points keep lines of communications open and create the strategic trust needed to navigate crisis. And history proves this. ASEAN was founded in 1967, not only because of shared interest, but because of the personal bonds built between its founding foreign ministers. Today, we see this dynamic at work in platforms like the Shangri-La Dialogue. We certainly hope many of you could join us in 2026, which allow defense leaders like yourself to speak candidly, and in smaller Track 1.5 settings like the RSIS trilateral exchange between the US and Chinese experts. Now, such forums do not seek to erase differences, nor would it be desirable to do so, but they foster stability. APPSMO plays this vital role. The late President S.R. Nathan once fondly called this gathering a summer camp. And I think he was right. APPSMO has grown into a valued partner for senior military leaders from over 40 countries to do something essential: talk to one another. Over meals, discussion, and shared experiences, and hopefully over a few pints as well, you build the informal bonds that foster understanding in ways official statements could never do. These relationships may prove one day to be decisive for our regional stability. In a world of sharp competition and growing uncertainty, we must remember one simple truth. Treaties and agreements are written in ink, but trust is built through conversations and shared experiences. Strengthening multilateral cooperation through open dialogue is our best path forward. Over the next few days, I encourage you to use this platform not just to exchange views, but to forge your friendships that will serve as the bedrock of our region's future. In doing so, we can help to build a world that is more secure and prosperous for the generations to come. I wish you all a very meaningful and rewarding week ahead. Continue to grow multilateralism so that Ambassador Ong Keng Yong can still have his job, and so will the rest of RSRS. Thank you very much, and have a great morning ahead. Thank you.